Anything beyond the halfway mark is potentially 3 points. If you're just joining us, or if you're just waking up from last night's festivities, this is halftime of the second match of the Nedbank Challenge Cup. It is Old Georgians Dragons versus Manicaland. The Dragons are leading 12-6. So if you want something special to do on a Saturday, come to Harare Sports Club. Drinks, meat, and all the festivities ready for you.
Big Mo, what's on Alan? Monk.
So we're back, second half of the opening match, and some fancy graphics on our screens at Harare Sports Club. It is 22 degrees Celsius already, and Old Georgians Dragons on your left, leading Manicaland by 12 points to 6. Old Georgians Dragons in the red, white, and black hoops, and Manicaland in green. Manicaland missing out on Stefan Hunduza as one of their centers, but can't notice the difference because they have so much ire and verve that they're giving Old Georgians Dragons a tough time. The kick is clean and they kick back looking for territory because the strategy is to gain points after the halfway mark. And there you have Manicaland allowing the Dragons fullback to run easy. And the coach must have had a word. Wow, the big man being lifted. And some pressure defense from Manicaland, making it very difficult for that feeble backline from Old Georgians Dragons. They are struggling in the backline, and the coach knows that. So going with that big man again, not gaining a lot of ground. Smart money on Manicaland, spreading wide on the breakdown, which is allowing them to have numbers, and they are shutting Old Georgians Dragons. And that turnover gives the ball to Manicaland. Manicaland showing strategies, showing grit, showing some very intelligent rugby. And if they had a chance to play this sort of rugby every week, I tell you, the top 3 rugby teams in the nation will change. The crowd is starting to build up. And just speaking to some of the old Hararians, coaching staff, they had a word with their players, breaking down some of those mental blocks, and trying to make sure that all the players are aligned with the vision of the team. So Manicaland within range, trying to get as much territory as possible. These teams are matched up quite evenly, and it's all about territory, gaining a good couple of yards, and well within their 22. Manicaland have been very good in the first half, turning over 3 lineouts and retaining almost all of theirs. And they've been very clinical with the 4-man lineout, but this time they might go for the 6-man lineout with the quick 2 ball, because they're very good at running the ball, and they will prove it against all Georgians Dragons and test their defense. A little bit too fancy there from Manicaland, losing critical possession at a time when a simple play would have made it easy for them. So a tap and go, and Old Georgians Dragons gaining ground, but being hit very well. A good cover by the fullback. Now with numbers, it's 4-on-2. Can they score from this? Once again, they do not score. Old Georgians Dragons 4-on-2, and they cannot defeat Manicaland. A big shout out to the defensive coach for those structures, shutting them down on the far side. And Old Georgians, without Benoni as their 10, without Jerry Jeravaza, are looking like they're lacking a bit of fancy, skillful play. But credit should be given to the Dragons for what they've done. They have maintained structures, they have dominated in the forwards, especially at the breakdowns. Good truck and trailers, a couple of mauls, and multiple phases. Ball retention predominantly has been the forte of the Old Georgians Dragons. But have another line out. Dragons with a 2 ball. And that is a knock on. Not something you would expect to see from Old Georgians. Now spectators are starting to line up at Harare Sports Club. Make sure that you come through early if you're bringing your car. The parking space is quite limited here. So the early birds are getting the best spots. Make sure that you've got the east-facing side. You wouldn't want to sit on your car, especially if you've got leather seats and they've been well tanned in the sun for a couple of hours. There we have it, scrum down. This time it's Manicaland ball, and Sean kicks it out straight to the winger. And ball center to the halfback, who throws that forward. We could see that a mile away. It is the pressure that Manicaland is applying on the Old Georgians Dragons, and already Old Georgians Dragons are reducing themselves to the team that wants to start a fight. And Manicaland having a mental advantage over the Old Georgians Dragons. And I must say, within the next 25 minutes, it could be very dangerous for the Dragons. Simultaneously, it could also mark the end of any fight back from Manicaland. And there we have it. It's an equal matchup, and Old Georgians Dragons very nervous to have Manicaland closer to that half. We did see the first points coming through from the halfway mark, and there we have that very strong and a very powerful eighth man gaining a few yards, and a side entry from Old Georgians Dragons. Very poor from them. Two decisions to be made. Should they take a scrum down or a kick to gain territory? And there you have it. Manicaland taking the post. They want to gain as much territory as possible. 5 yards is good enough. The kicks for touch have not been the best so far, but it'll work. For now, it will work. 37 minutes into it, if you're just joining us at Harare Sports Club, Old Georgians Dragons are leading Manicaland 12 points to 6. As Manicaland ball, they're running from your right to your left on your screens, and it's a line out in their favor, very dangerous, and hopefully not trying any fancy line outs. They go again with their 2 ball. It has been their safety ball, and there you have it, losing a bit of ground but maintaining possession with almost all the forwards committed, and they have a nice shadow run. Manicaland with a nice dummy and an offload. A quick offload. It's a 2-on-1 and a 1-on-1 with the wingers. Manicaland running. What happened there? It wasn't a knock. It fell back and went straight to his foot. Manicaland with 2 big men trying to fly over, trying to dive over, and the pass going to the forwards. And we've got numbers on the right side. Manicaland have it. Try time. Try time, Manicaland. What a rugby game. What a way to start the final day. Now it's 12-11 in favor of Manicaland. We did call this out earlier on. The fact that if Manicaland are within range and they retain possession, the moment they get the ball to the far side, they are dominating. And Old Georgians Dragons body language not the most pleasing at the moment. There we have them talking to each other. Boys, what is going on? And unfortunately for them, Manicaland have a brilliant kicker. A stock kick. Now this is the one team that has traveled at least 250 kilometers to get here, and they're not walking away empty-handed this morning. With a nice high ball kick. The pendulum of this game has swung in the favor of Manicaland. Manicaland 13, Old Georgians Dragons 12. Now Manicaland screaming in there, shouting like warriors, shouting for blood. They want blood. They are going back with their pound of flesh, and this morning's pound of flesh might come in the form of a dragon. Now the Dragons under pressure, trying to go for that central channel with a nice high ball, nice and deep. Manicaland getting it. Do not make the mistake of giving Manicaland half a yard. They will take the full mile. This time it's a penalty advantage to Old Georgians. It might force them to take points. Now Manicaland scraping through and spreading wide on that breakdown to match up numbers. Now there we have it in the back line. They have gone past the gain line, so it should be advantage over. And it looks like near knock on there. And the advantage was still on. Ref calls that they had not passed that advantage line. Now what will all Georgians Dragons do? Ideally you'd want these guys to come through and take points, but they want the full points and they run it through. Dragons with another attempted line break right at the breakdown. Manicaland putting bodies behind it. This time put good pressure right from the base of it. And there we have it. Manicaland fighting. And all Georgians Dragons having to fight for every single yard and inch on this park today. Manicaland not having any of it. Not so much time. And it looks like the Dragons are being pushed backwards. They are struggling. Manicaland wants this. The Dragons in possession. Not a smart move. They should have gone on the far side. It was a 6-on-5. And Manicaland are fighting it in that breakdown. It is a cage match. A bunch of piranhas in that cage match. Another dummy not working. Manicaland are looking at that, looking at every single move. They're not letting them have an inch. In fact, they're being pushed back. It was a nice and clean coming through the gate, and Manicaland shutting down that old Georgians Dragons. What is going on at Harare Sports Club this morning? What a wow, Manicaland. Putting the Dragons under so much pressure. Struggling to go past that 22-yard line. This time trying to go through that back line that is being dominated. A kick that does not work, and it changes possession in the favor of Manicaland. Now the Dragons thinking twice. Can they run past Manicaland? Should they kick? It looks like they're failing to go past the great ball of Manicaland. Looking winded, the body language looking poor, and the easy way out will be going for points. But if they don't get this kick, what is going to go on? This is the beauty of the Nedbank Challenge Cup. And like I did say, they didn't come here to make up numbers. No, not by a long shot. Now this could be the kick that gives old Georgians Dragons a false sense of relief, or a bit of relief for the moment. But did you see the defensive structures from Manicaland? I know I sound one-sided at the moment, but remember Dragons are former national champions. What a wow, he missed that. Manicaland in possession of the ball and in the lead. And Manicaland looking to kick out of danger. That works too. That works too. That works too. It looks like there must have been a deflection, but the touch judge did not see that. But would you believe that? All Georgians Dragons right in front of post, missing, and missing out on the opportunity to turn this game around. Manicaland have all Georgians Dragons by the chokehold. I had never imagined this happening with just about 10 to 15 minutes to go. The exit kick looking sloppy, but it works. They're out of danger. All Georgians Dragons in possession. It's a line out, all Georgians Dragons. They go for the 2-ball. This time it's clean. And the ref, and there we go. Enough space, way too much space given to that lock. And the Dragons with the opportunity to go for the far side. Still offloading a bit too late. And try time, Dragons. Finally, they get their head straight. And the Dragons manage to put points on the board. And that balance of power is back in its original place once again. This time the Dragons are putting points on the board at 17-13, having missed out on a kick. But Manicaland with so much ire, do they have what it takes to go through the next 15 minutes with grit and fight? That's all they need to put in. 13 to 15 minutes more of a fight And this is what they need to go back to Manicaland, to go back to Mutare with their pound of flesh. Now this will be a very difficult angle for a kicker that failed to kick straight through. Manicaland not too far away, not too far away. All they need is one try. And the moment they're within range, it is done. It is done for Manicaland. So much rugby still to be played within the next 12 minutes or so. And trust me, the game is not over. What a wow. The Dragons are back. They've got their mindset right. And he gets that in. That further deepens the conquest that Manicaland have. Going down from a point lead and this time trailing by 6 points. So a try and a conversion, exactly what Manicaland needs to win this game. And that Old Georgians Dragons are bench, giving them much needed ire. Manicaland with a kick that will be right at the edge. And a very scrappy tackle. Looks like it looks very high. Citation official will have a chat after this. That is some very dangerous play. You cannot fly at a player's neck that high. It is not acceptable. So there we have Dragons going for that clearance kick. So this is what it looks like on match day number 1. All Georgians Dragons finally with their heads in the game, leading Manicaland 19-13. It is a line out in their favor within 10 yards of this one. So the first game that's happening here at Harare Sports Club. The line out is looking like that's the option that might have the All Georgians Dragons running through. This time they're going for wide play. I can see pods, 1, 2, 3, 4 pods ready, and a difference in our hooker. Going for the 6 ball, and Manicaland turn it around. And this time they're in position. Another high tackle. And this time the ref reaches for his cards. Looks like he's going to go for his cards with a smile. That is not good rugby, young man. The sin bin, it is for you. So this changes the matchup between the two sides. It's now 14 men versus 15. And Manicaland have to take a risk. A nice deep kick. And there we have Manicaland's point scorer. Nice deep kick. It's just outside the 22. Just outside the 22-yard line. Kept. And all Georgians Dragons are trying to outsmart Manicaland there. Trying to grab their ball from them. And some smart time wasting there. Hooker from Old Georgians using the laces trick. And there we go with the 3-man line out. And Manicaland lose it. Lateral pass from Old Georgians. Dragons are now in control of this game, showing them who is boss. Former champions of the National League, multiple winners of a National League, and now they're in control. Manicaland not having any of it, going blow for blow in that breakdown. And the box kick, finally, one a decent box kick in this match. And it works in favor of Manicaland, who are in control with a nice offload, going all the way alone, a solo attempt, avoiding that line out, and keeping it within touch. And there we go, Manicaland within ball. And the tackler not releasing fast enough, but letting go in the end. And there we go, Manicaland with a phase from that breakdown. Do they go past the gain line? Yes, they do. Not enough support. What some legs on that player. And he managed to There we go. A quick tap. And Manicaland in possession. It is a 4-on-1. And there we go. Manicaland almost running into each other. And they pass all the way into touch. What is going on this morning? That was a try handed over from the gods of rugby into the hands of Manicaland, and they did not receive the blessing. It's 19-3 with just a few minutes to cap this off. Manicaland once again, Manicaland breaking the hearts of everyone who's rooting for the underdog this morning. They're just one try away from walking away with a historic victory against All Georgians Dragons. Had that gone through, that could have been the try that would have brought this game closer to them. It is the Dragons' ball, and Manicaland just having a chat with the touch judge. They don't want to lose a single inch on that defensive line, and it will be very tough, hard line to break for the Dragons. They go for the 2-ball and a nice pass, and potentially going to run the ball. And Manicaland coming through, and the Dragons not looking very smart there at the very end. It's a 2-on-2, and there we go. Some good legs on that play, and managing to secure. And very smart from Manicaland not to contest that ruck. And there we've got a big shove. Manicaland looking to turn that around and not fighting it and spreading wide. Smart play. All Georgians keeping that ball within them, and an exit kick. And the ref says bring it back. It looks like there was a knock. It's going to be a scrum down. And if you're just joining us, we have just a few minutes to cap off the first match of the Nedbank Rugby Challenge Cup at the Machinery Exchange Stadium right here at Harare Sports Club. The matchup between All Georgians Dragons versus Manicaland, and Manicaland proving that they brought the entertainment factor, but All Georgians showing them who the boss is. And if this was the Game of Thrones, I would say that the coach from All Georgians Dragons has called out Dracarys, and they're spitting fire and looking to score one more as they go forward. The Dragons are looking much more warmed up, looking like a real face of themselves, but it's Manicaland ball and shutting out that eighth man, but he's the second or third time he's been able to do that. And Manicaland taking it easy, going for a second phase. It would be nice for them to run a shadow and go on the far side and break down. Tackler did not release, or was it the player that didn't release? It looked a bit scrappy from where we're looking at. And there we go, an inside pass from Manicaland. On the advantage. There we go, Manicaland running through. Will it be a try? This is the second time that the gods of rugby have spoken directly to Manicaland, and they did not get the call. They did not get the code. That breakthrough was just what Manicaland needed to go past the line. And there we go again with the big man putting everything into it. Manicaland are putting bodies on the line. Still in possession. Still in possession. And Manicaland losing that. It looks like a knock on from the Dragons, but it's not. It went backwards. And it turns into Manicaland with a penalty. Looking to tap quickly. Not very smart at the moment. A good kick for touch would put them closer to that try box. And All Georgians Dragons are really feeling the fact that they cannot be complacent. There we go with that big hit once again. I think the amount of adrenaline in this match is way beyond sense.
Right, number 2, check. Yes.
That tap and go from Manicaland. Wow! Bodies banging on the line. And a nice, sharp, hard line. What a good line. Support coming a bit too late. Manicaland looking to go to the line. There is that shadow run. He goes for the inside. Manicaland with the opportunity for a try. It's
Manicaland!
try time, Manicaland. Try time, Manicaland. What a wow. 1 point behind the Dragons. This could be the biggest upset we have seen at the Nedbank Challenge Cup. Finally, Manicaland switching it on. Now, working with that story of time management, you gain a couple of seconds with your kicking tee coming through. And as the kicker, you got the first right of refusal not to accept that ball. And this kick will certainly put Manicaland ahead. Finally, Manicaland have executed the plan exactly as it was written down. With absolutely no pressure, Manicaland are ahead. 2019 is the score, with Manicaland leading Old Georgians Dragons. With just a few minutes to play, Old Georgians Dragons looking sort of out of sorts, and Manicaland with the gods of rugby on their sides on this Saturday morning. What a wow. A big shout out to our sponsors that managed to bring us all of this great rugby from the comfort of your screens. Unfortunately, I have to commentate while I'm sitting. I would love to stand and scream and shout. Manicaland! Oh gosh, that knock on just putting so much pressure. They just have to have temperament. Big match temperament is what we need right now to make sure that this upset continues as it is. All Georgians Dragons are very dangerous at this point in time. At any point, any move, they could clinically finish this one. And there we have it, all Georgians Dragons in possession, scrum down in front of Manicaland. And it looks like Manicaland are pushing heart and stones. There is a shadow runner not coming through. Once again, Dragons not offloading. Why did not offload? Dragons in possession, this time going to the left side with their first phase. Manicaland putting the bodies on the line, putting everything, not giving an inch, some pressure defense and no offload there. And there we go, Manicaland are not contesting too much, looking at the next runner. Dragons are very dangerous. They have scored already from that winger. And there we go with the winger. And it looks like a possible knock-on went backwards from this angle. Manicaland not allowing a single inch. Very good with their defense, and it is time to defend with their hearts and their lives. And the clock is ticking. 58 and a half minutes. Manicaland dominating, trying to look for a turnover, and they would love that exit ball. It looks like a penalty. There we go. Dragons turning it over. Manicaland. 3 times the gods of rugby have spoken to you, and only once have you listened to the call. With just a few minutes to go, the Dragons are really proving why the law of the land in Zimbabwe remains. And I will say this in Shona, Shiria Gara Inozofa, and that might be the end of Manicaland's charge against the Old Georgians Dragons. They had everything going on for them, blow for blow, defensively, matching them up with the forwards and dominating them on the far side. And then that knock-on began, the domino effect and the spiral down of all the efforts that Manicaland had put in the last 2 weeks. From last week to this week, what else does Manicaland need to win? And it looks like from this angle, even if the kick does not go through, at this trajectory, they will finish off clean. It looks like it's almost clean. And it is! 26-20, and that is the game. Manicaland shot themselves in the foot with just 3 minutes to finish the game, and the OGs flew. They called it Dracaris in the very end, and they blew balls of fire, and it is heartbreaking for all the fans that were screaming their lungs out in favor of Manicaland. But this is the Nedbank Challenge Cup. Lots of games to come through. This is one of 9 matches today, and the next match coming up on this park at Terraria Sports Club. Very interesting one is the Nedbank under-20s versus Manicaland. It's going to be a match of speed versus brawn, experience versus the youngsters and the spirit. This is Rising Stars. Copy the link. We are streaming live on Facebook. We are streaming live on YouTube. Anywhere you are in the world, copy the link, like, paste, follow. And if you get bored in between, you could download some of our videos from back in the day. We have I believe we're the first to introduce cinematic photography and videography to rugby in Zimbabwe. If you want to have a look at that, it is really good. Temperatures going up. It is 24 degrees Celsius. Catch you in the second game. I'm gonna go back to my normal place. Welcome back to the Machinery Exchange Stadium at Terraria Sports Club. This is the second matchup of the day of the Nedbank Challenge Cup. It's week 2 and everyone is urging to go to the final. Now we have last week's 2 losers meeting together. That's Nedbank's high performance under 20 versus Manicaland. And this is a crucial one, especially for the under 20s, because this is a selection match. At the end of today, we will know the training squad for the Zimbabwe Junior Sables. So lots to lose and lots to gain on the line. Nice high ball from Manicaland, a good receiver from the under-20s. Just testing out those defensive structures. Not very smart to have your forwards kicking, but smart play from the young man. He knew that they were all offside, and that would have caused an easy penalty. Oh, great kick from the under-20s. Does it find touch? It's a nice touch finder. Manicaland could have challenged that. Now, just to find out more about the under-20s rugby side, just to find out and get to know the boys a little bit more, go on our Facebook page, that is Rising Stars. We are documenting the future of stars. A nice clean ball, and Manicaland get that. A good offload. This time, a nice hard line by Manicaland, a 2-on-2, and the winger versus, oh yes, a good clean through by the under-20s. So today is actually a big test between experience and zest. And there we have it. It's a line out under-20 ball. Still haven't recovered from that turnaround of events. With 3 minutes to go, Manicaland broke my heart. Gave it away to old Georgians Dragons. Under-20s with a nice line out, but Manicaland steady, lucky to hold on to that one and turn it around. So there we go, truck and trailer. Let's look at those defensive structures from the under-20s. And they're working, they're pushing Manicaland back. Manicaland with that hard line with the big man. And they have a plan for him. And he knocks it into contact, turning it around. It is under-20 ball. And it looks like the youngsters wants to turn this one around. Not the coolest of days at Rider Sports Club today. It is 24 degrees with a real feel of 26. So make sure you stay hydrated. It's just 3 minutes into it. No points on the board as yet. Under-20s with the ball. Lots to play for beyond the victory, beyond the cup. Each individual player wearing that Nedbank shirt is looking to play their best, their heart out, and gain the favor and the eye of the coach, Sean D'Souza, who's also the tournament director. The scrum down is clean. Will they run it? Very gutsy from the under-20s, running it from their 22. Good structures, and looking at the scrum half, I thought a box kick was coming through. Running into the Great Wall of Manicaland. And this time looking for that exit plan with a good kicker. Do they find touch? And there we go, Manicaland going for the far side. These youngsters can tackle, clinical, and stopping that dead end in its tracks. And Manicaland using a bit of experience and size. A lot more physical than the under-20s, and that hard line. Under-20s doing very well. Oh, high performance center, you biscuit. Pushing them back and bringing that gain line backwards. Some nifty kicking. And the exit plan looking clean from the under-20s. And a nice catch from the stands. This is one of the reasons why I like the rugby culture in Zimbabwe. Most of the fans are also former players and rugby enthusiasts. A big shout out to the match ref, Matthias Vepepe, quite a seasoned referee. has done quite a lot of local games, school games as well. Manicaland line out, a nice, wonderful line out, and gives a clean ball to that hard line. Individual play is what Manicaland is banking on, but the under-20s are prepared with the pods of defense, turning that ball around. And there we go, under-20s with some good hands. Nice late offloads. We can see the idea and the structure of what the under-20s are working on today. A lot of discipline is required, and I think the hardest thing to be an under-20 player at this point in time is your ability and your maturity to hold back that urge to have your individualism and fancy play. But you have to play within the team structure. Just looking at these boys, they're coming off the back of a very successful Paramount Garments Under-20 League, which went in the favor of the Pitbulls. And I must say that the boys have been fighting really hard to get these jerseys, and the fight continues. Now they have to prove themselves to make it into that Under-20 squad, into that probable squad. And there we have it. Under-20s on the attack. And there you have it. It's working within the plan, totally dominating Manicaland. Now, can we have an Auto Ferrari team that will walk away with the victory today? That is certainly my plan. A big shout out to everyone who's streaming live from Bulawayo, Livugenjani. Under-20s with a nice clean touch finder. And it looks like they're within range. And unlike the other teams that are playing just for victory, for the under-20s, the game plan for the junior Sables begins now when they come through as the high performance center. And once again, Manicaland, this time with a squeeze ball from that individual play, gaining about 5 yards and looking for a touch finder, but chased down by the under-20s and falling into touch. These boys are coached very well. I hope that they'll have a lot more self-belief against the older Chargers. And there we have it. We're in the 8th minute of the second match today. Big credits to our sponsors, Do Celia. Do find them out. Kynoch Fertilizers. And there we go, under-20s now on the attack from the line out. They have 3 stations, first phase. And there we go, shadow run not working this time, a quick offload. It's 4 players on the line. And there we have it. Their handling not so great in the end. That would have been a fine opening try for the under-20s. I would not want to be an under-20 rugby player on the park right now, knowing that Coach D'Souza and his selection side have their eye on you the entire time. One fumble could mean the difference between you having a jersey or not. For every 1 player, we have 3 that are going for that same position. That's the vast number of options that the coach has this year, just as he did last year. Remember, some of our under-20s are African champions, went to the World Cup and showed what they were made of. And there we have it from the scrum. Ooh, that looks like that was very scrappy. Ref will not have any of that. Massive high tackle from the number 12 from Manicaland. Such a huge man. Struggles with his handling skills. Very good with the breaking lines, and he's just having a chat with the coach for safety's sake. So from that penalty, And decisions. It looks like to win the game, under 20s will take posts. It should be a stock kick for the young man. Zimbabwe over the years have produced quite a number of brilliant kickers. A lot of them coming through from Prince Edward. The last great kicker we had was Takuzwa Msingini. Now we've got Benoni. And this should be a nice stock kick for the young man going from left to right. I think it gives his charges a couple of minutes to breathe. Like I said, it is a stock kick for the young man. Nedbank high performance under 20 leading Manicaland by 3 points to 0.
And the high performance club draws first blood.
We get into the 12th minute of this match, and Manicaland with a lot of individual play. Not quite sure what the strategy is. They have the size, they have ball carriers, but not gelling well together as a side. Nice high ball. What a beautiful high ball. And Manicaland retains possession with some good rucks that have been exhibited in this game so far. Another individual charge and the sport coming late. There we go. With a man on the hip, Manicaland securing the ball. Possible more coming through, and the under-20s are having a look at that. And then we've got the hooker with a few fancy side steps. There we go. Manicaland with what looks like a fumble. Not releasing tackler, and the ref gives that penalty advantage to Manicaland, who take the options. And there we have it. Manicaland going for the safe option, which is going for touch. They've been very good with their lineouts, having turned over 2 lineouts already. So will they work with numbers? Ideally, an 8-man lineout gives the option of a more and draws in numbers. And exactly as we called it from the commentary days, they want to go for that more. And the scrum of controlling it. Come on. There we go. Matchup 1-on-1. 1-on-1. Hooker to hooker. The young man really showing them that this is a men's game. And like they say in Shona, Pana Dibire Muru. If you know, you know. So then we've got that hooker from Manicaland going toe-to-toe with the under-20 young man, and he was not having any fit. Well conditioned, these boys. There's a lot of work that is going on behind the scenes, a lot of gym work, a lot of diet work, strength and conditioning, a lot of speed training. Good professional structures that we're seeing at under 20 levels. If we can cascade at least 80% of that temperament to senior level, I tell you, Zimbabwe will be a nation to reckon with in the near future. And then we got it once again, Manicaland dominating with that maul. Now, can under 20s defend the maul like they did before? Yes, they can. Then we've got it, and he's calling for defense on the hip. And that one-on-one matchup, and then the 20s doing very well. Much smaller in stature, but bigger at heart and technique. And then we've got Manicaland, 3-on-2, and what some great defense from under 20s there. I don't know how Manicaland were not able to score. You have 3-man on the far side. You have one junior sable, potential junior sable, and you do not score. Smart play from the young under 20 side. brilliantly coached, and I believe that they have a coaching session where they learn about the laws, rugby laws. That's why they have their heads above the game the entire time. If you're just joining us, it is 16 minutes into the second match of the Nedbank Challenge Cup right here at Harare Sports Club, the Machinery Exchange Stadium. Matchup between the Nedbank High Performance Under-20 side versus Manicaland. Formerly Manicaland Warriors, but coming through as a select side at this time. It's the Nedbank Under-20 side's ball with a scrum down within their 22, and they're dominating Manicaland. And they decide to run a screen run, and the screen runner receiving. What a sidestep! Second sidestep, individual play with the option to offload. Brilliant individual effort, and this time the ref not having any of this scrappy stop-start rugby. Just explain to the young man that you're supposed to release. Now, in as much as it looks like a good run, the coaches and the selectors today will be looking at those small things. Can you retain a ball once you get into contact? Should he have opened up the left-hand side pass? So these are the decisions and questions that selectors are asking and players will be adjudicated on. What a touch finder. Barely a few meters from the try line. Risky, gutsy, and this is what Manicaland is bringing to the park this morning. There we have it. Manicaland could be potentially penalized for time wasting. They are not as nifty as the under-20s. We've got an injury concern on the park. Potentially looks like a groin injury there. But there we have it, just having a look at some interesting players that we've seen. We've seen that in the center pairing, we've got some strong boys with some good distribution skills. Very impressive from the under-20s hooker. And it looks like he is an inch closer to selection. Remember, it's a lot of pressure on our under-20 high-performance team because this is also a selection tournament. At the end of the day, there will be an announcement on who will be part of the Junior Sables training squad as they head for the Bartes Trophy, which is later on next month at Old Georgians Sports Club, dubbed as the Africa Cup. That also determines who's going to the World Cup. Ball not in straight, and the ref will have a chat with both sides. Another injury concern right from the line out. We've had quite a lot of injuries, and they could be worrisome on a day like this when each team is expected to play 2 matches today. Already on the park is a big match, Pitbulls versus Harare Sports Club. A lot of history. I would say these are rugby cousins. A lot of players from Harare Sports Club coming from Churchill, and Pitbulls is a club that was formed from Churchill High School. So there will be no blood and bones spared today. It will be another bloodbath, a cage match, 2 piranhas in 1 cage. So do stay tuned for that. It's coming right after this. 19 minutes into it, Nedbank high performance under-20 with a semi-decent comfortable lead of 3 points against Manicaland, and the boys showing just how well coached they are, but they need to turn this potential into results, and that is what is important at the end of the day, to gain results. A winning mentality is something that we are working on as a nation, and these boys are the custodians of that dream. An exit plan would work for high performance under-20, with the kicker not getting the first first receiver not getting a clean ball, but they do work well to recover. And there's another injury concern within that breakdown. from this end, it looks very easy. It looks nice and gentle within those breakdowns. But I must tell you, you have the experience and size of the Manicaland team, and then the youthfulness and aggression that comes with the high performance under 20 squad from Nedbank. And they're going pound for pound at every single interaction. For those of you just joining us, this is the second match in the Nedbank Challenge Cup at day 2 at Harare Sports Club. 9 matches. Now, if you also belong to a different sporting discipline and you really need services that will bring your sporting discipline to the world and put it on the wonderful World Wide Web in the online archives forever, do visit our page. Rising Stars will respond to you promptly and have an array of services ranging from documentation, player profiles, and you wouldn't want to see the next superstar donned in a national jersey and you wonder, where did this young man come from? Well, we get them straight from the farm to your plate. That is the story of Rising Stars. So it looks like the big man will not be able to continue for the moment, and they'll have to bring in what will stand in as a potential blood sub. Really unfortunate to have the big man walking out. Just going back to play. Referee Matthias Bepepe restarting play once again. It's just a few minutes, roughly about 18 minutes of continuous play. So still quite a lot of rugby within the first half. It's a scrum down, and it's the high performance center ball. And they pick and go with a nice pass. What some smart rugby. Kick into territory. And the ref calls that back. Some unnecessary infringement from the number 5, and the ref will have a chat with him, potentially reach out for his card. Within the spirit of good rugby, not giving that away. And the under-20s are asking the ref if they could potentially have that grubber kick, but Matthias Bepepe calling out the penalty where they had it. And under-20s are hoping to get out of their half finally. And it is just past the halfway mark. It is under-20 ball. Let's line out just after the halfway mark. It is under-20 ball there on the charge with their first screen run. Some handling issues. Takes the whole team back and they have to pick themselves up. Now they're back on the defensive once again with the big man from Manicaland just dominating those youngsters. Manicaland with a couple of individual runs. Once again, 1 and 2 coming through, and this time support play closer to the hip. And there we have it on the far side. The very fast Manicaland winger who is running back in there. Smart decisions being made. Under-20s being charged again. Looks like the Manicaland player avoiding the big collision and went down easily. There we go, Manicaland once again on the charge, and under-20s defending once again. ball retention, and they're paying for that handling error. Manicaland retaining possession, trying to wear out these boys with a nice screen run. The hard line and the offload not coming through. One offload would have changed everything. Now the under-20s have recovered. Manicaland with the quick offload, and they're on the charge, and they want this. They will get this. They're pushing through, and it looks like, is it held up? Is it a try? Ref just having a look at that, waiting for the ref's decision. And the ref just having a look at that. Will that be a try? Looks like that's held up. Manicaland showing that experience does work. It was held up. But what is disappointing about this under-20 side is the fact that they're having to recover from small, tiny mistakes that can put them ahead, comfortably ahead of Manicaland. And the coaches are really not happy with what is going on. And there you have it, Manicaland once again with a wide ball. There we go with that winger once again, sidestepping and for defense to come through. There he was, holding on a little bit too early. A quick tap, and they're calling for it. And there we go. He is going all the way with... oh, there we go. It's an easy try. Now, this is what under-20 should have been doing the entire time. Every time you break the line, you have options on the far side. That brings it to a 5-8 in favor of the Nedbank High Performance Under-20. Now the HPC.
Dr. Spongile and the Nedbank team, thanks to Zimbabwe Rugby Union, Zetario Dignitaries, Friends of Junior Sebos.
And there we have it. It is an easy kick for the HPC. But what needs to be put into context is the fact that it's not about the result today. It is the manner in which the under-20s are going to win. It is the manner in which the under-20s are going to lose. It's the manner in which they're going to execute themselves against oppositions such as Manicaland Select. Now, that may have been a try, but that is not how the under-20 structure is designed to be as we get into the Africa Cup, into the Barclays Trophy. But a win is a good confidence booster for the boys, and a lot needs to be adjusted at the halfway mark by the coaches who are having a look and talking to the boys. A lot of small errors such as handling errors and decision have not gone in the favor of the HPC, and they'll be looking to adjust all of that. So there you have it, HPC leading Manicaland Select 10 points to nothing. At Harare Sports Club, the crowd is starting to build up with a lot more of the younger crowd coming through in support of the people that they were following throughout the under-20 local season in Harare. Good receive from the under-20s pumping their legs within that collision. And a nice dummy trying to delay and get support play. Manicaland looking to turn that over. Some good rucking from the under-20s. A nice truck and trailer with enough support behind them, and the exit plan will come through nice and easily. Will he find touch? Unfortunately, it goes in the hands of the back three. Now the winger with the chance to gain some territory, kicks in the middle channel, and we'll see if the young man can get some clearance. Not as much distance as he would have loved, but it's an exit plan still. In the spirit of sportsmanship, it also gives a chance for medics to come through and handle the Manicaland Select player who is down on the ground. We've seen some good rugby, especially from Manicaland, quite a lot of improvements. And I hope that the HPC will produce a couple of players that the coach requires for the next match. Quite a lot of noises coming from the southern side of the field, and that's because of the match that is coming up. It is the Pit Bulls versus Harare Sports Club. Both teams are spirited sides, are making a lot of noise in their warm-ups, and that's the match that will be coming right after this. We had a few delays earlier on, which resulted in additional time being put into the first half. HPC leading Matibilaland by 10 points to nothing, and Matibilaland with there we go, with the 6 ball, clean 6 ball, and a nice squeeze ball in the middle to secure that. And they will be going for that individual play with that winger as part of that move. And they've got numbers with enough phases to go through. A nice hard line. And there we go, big man on big man. And the under-20s, impressive defense. Put up a nice wall. And the ref looking at players that are going on the offside line. There we go, with that big center, but they have a plan for him, and they've stopped him dead within his tracks, not gaining any ground. The ref taking that penalty advantage.
Taking on Odaronis.
And the ref, this is the one thing I like about Matthias Befefe. He loves a clean rugby game, and he is telling them that you have to start on the mark, especially at these high tempo type of games. Matibilaland still on the rise. Try time, Matibilaland.
Try time, Matland.
So Matland with their first try, first points on the board, and a lapse of concentration from HPC, allowing those big players to come through. Now, it may seem like a regular try, but these are the things that the coaching staff are looking at ahead of the Africa Cup, ahead of the potential World Cup, because you will be facing sides such as Uganda, Kenya,
Can you make sure that you
Namibia,
check up
that have all of
inside?
these huge players that will continually give so much pressure to them. So every single interaction on that line has to be solid, it has to be clinical, and you cannot allow players to run through as easily as that. And the reason why the under-20s, the HPC is constantly on the defense is because of ball retention, something that they'll be working towards. The kick from Matland are not coming through, and that brings us to half-time. It is half-time with the HPC leading Matland by 10 points to 5. Manicaland, Matland select. HPC leading Matland by 10 points to 5. And the action is on. A couple more people coming into the stadium now. It's getting warmer, it's getting warmer. Weather report says it's about 24, 25 degrees Celsius, but the real feel is about 27. And the kickoff should be in a short moment from our match field referee. That is Matthias Befefe. HPC under 20 with that kick. Matland looking solid with that, and this time looking for a good exit strategy and exit plan. Do they find touch? And unfortunate. Another fluff from HPC under 20. The young man having beating himself very hard because he knows what this means. Everyone wants to don that jersey, and they'll know by the end of the day. It's a lot of pressure on all of the players. So do trust me, not a very simple thing, not a very simple thing for the players. And there we have it. Under 20s managed to steal that one, and it looks like there was an infringement, a knock on, and referee Matthias Befefe just bringing some order. Have a closer look at that scrum down. And the ball is out. HPC under 20 with a nice exit plan, and Matland looking to copy the same, and there we go. They did not call mark on that one, meaning that the boys would prefer a different plan. A lot of kicking going on back and forward, and trying to conserve energy. And there we've got Matland kicking in what looks like a knock-on. Potential knock-on. Is that a knock-on or that is straight out? And the ref will just get clarity from our touch judge. And it looks like that was out. Looks like that's a line out. Just a clarity on that one. It actually, as suspected, it is actually a scrum down. It's actually a line out, beg your pardon. I guess the old eyes are failing me now. There you go, Matland in control with a nice hard line. Oh, poor handling errors. And now, under 20s replicating the same errors that we're finding from Matland. Not exactly the most clinical from the two sides. Remember that. Remember to follow Rising Stars. At the end of today, we will announce the provisional squad for the Zimbabwe under 20 side, and those are the junior sables. So it's very important for these players, especially those in the HPC side. And with the number of errors that have been shown today, and lack of big match temperament, I see a lot of boys being disappointed today, and they'll really have to work very hard to gain favor with their coaches. Scrumming has been good so far, with the 8th coming out of that one, but Matland quickly finding that strategy. Oh, good line break from HPC, and a ball retention. Quick ball out, and they go on the right side. This time with a nice grubber in between. There's no man back there, and the fullback on fullback, giving them a bit of an exit strategy. And the boys have to go on the left side this time, with a couple of players now onside. And those handling errors once more. What is going on with the HPC boys this morning? These are not the same boys and the same quality of rugby that we've been accustomed to watching the under-20 league game by game. Something is not going on right, and the body language is starting to show. We've got players holding on to their knees. We've got players that looking slightly disoriented, and this is not what you need for a team that wants to progress further in the World Cup, for a team that wants to keep that Africa Cup trophy in Zimbabwe. You have to believe that you're a champion. You have to believe that each moment counts, and rugby is a sport of moments. There we go. It is a scrum down. Poor handling errors from Matland. A chance for HPC to redeem themselves. The young boys have a chance to come back from this one with heads up. Now, there we have it, with scrum down. So, in as much as you might be wondering, why is the ref having a chat with all of these boys? It's critical for the boys to get the orientation right at this level, because when you get to international matches, there is no time for the ref to start educating you on the laws. It is game on. Scrum down, HPC ball. HPC leading Matland by 10 points to 5. Ball coming out clean. Not quite sure if the second receiver was ready for that one. Handling errors once again from a fullback. What is going on with HPC this morning? And certainly it looks like the second under-20 side will predominantly have the first choice players that will make it into the final Junior Sables training squad. Matland really doing its job and playing its role in the script of what under-20 rugby is all about in 2024. They're supposed to make it difficult for these youngsters, and potentially Matland will walk away with a victory. It looks like a substitution that is going on now. The pace of this game has slowed down quite significantly, and as a result, Matland looking stronger, looking more dominant, looking like they're enjoying this a lot more now. Individual runs, and this is good rugby. Good defense by Nedbank. And there we go. Those defensive errors, I need to take my words back. I said good defense, but some of those errors at the breakdown, the reasons why some of the boys will not be selected today. And Matland now using their kicker, gaining some good traction. And once again, HPC on the defensive in their own half, and all the hard work comes through. Once again, the result is not a pure reflection of what's going on the field. A lot of the dominance is coming through from Matland, who have had a possession, at least 60% of possession in the first half, and this time it's a bit more balanced in the second. Here we have it straight from that line out. And it's a line out to Manicaland ball. They're going for that trusted 6 ball, but this time it's not in straight.
Where are you?
Ball not in straight, it's a short arm. And HPC opt for the scrum. The boys have done very well in the scrum.
I'm looking for my ball. It's round.
And there we go, the HPC scrum. Game moving a little bit slower. Would be nice to pace it up a little bit more. A lot of start-stop rugby today. Scrum down. Brilliant scrum from the under-20s. Ball is nice and clean. They look for another touch finder. Do they get it? Safe in the hands of Manicaland. Ball center, stock option. And they look for that empty space that had no one covering. And then we've got HPC kicking for territory once again. Not a lot of touch finders. Oh, what a dummy. And this time Manicaland playing it in the safe hands of their trusted center. And HPC. There we go. HPC with that lovely dive. Spectacular. So 2 tries coming through from HPC, and both of them not coming from set pieces. Both of them not coming from the style of rugby that is the signature of under-20s. So in as much as the scoreboard is ticking in their favor, 15-5 lead against Manicaland, they have not shown the quality of rugby that they presented in their under-20 Paramount Governments League. We've not seen those set pieces. We've not seen those screen runs. We've not seen them putting Mat Warriors to the test enough. And there's been quite a lot of handling errors, something that is quite disappointing. The style of rugby for Zimbabwe at under-20 level has a lot to do with running, and we need our boys to be able to handle and retain the ball. So far, the kicking has been good from both ends. I think this has been a better kicking game with quite a lot of energy conservation. The boys are aware that they're playing 2 matches. And there we have what should be a stock kick. And the under-20s, the HPC will do that easily. No problem at all there. Conversions to successful at 17-5. In favor of HPC.
Next game is Pitbulls taking on Olderarians.
So it's about 46 minutes into this one. This is the second match of the Nedbank Challenge Cup at the Machinery Exchange Stadium at Harare Sports Club. It is HPC in green versus Mat Warriors in grey. HPC leading 17-5. Kickoff from Mat Warriors from your left to your right. And that one falls comfortably in the hands of Nedbank with some good sidestepping there. And then we've got that loose end trying to run around and see if he can outpace Mat Warriors. If we were playing a full 40 minutes per half, you'll really need a cooling break in the middle of this match because temperatures are quite high. It seems like we're gaining a degree for every single match that we're playing today. And I'm feeling the full blast of the sun. What I'm actually enjoying right now is the fact that one of our commentators who will be joining us later on today, Ruwimbo Chakoreka, came through wearing cargo pants at a rugby match. And he's going to feel this a little bit later on. We'll ask him how he feels wearing cargo pants. And it's action time. There we've got Manicaland Warriors rushing through, and they are making the under-20s work for it with a lot of oh, it's a big battle in that breakdown. And there we go. Manicaland are looking unfazed, making these young people work for it. There we have it. HPC on the back foot. More defensive errors in the breakdown where they're being tested by the ref. And there we have it. Manicaland using, Manicaland just losing that in the point of contact. Do we have a good exit strategy? It does not find touch. And the ref calling it back. Looking to restart that. And there we have it. It's a scrum down. I'll confirm in a short while if it is HPC or Manicaland ball. There we have it. It's a scrum down, HPC ball. The exit strategy has not come out cleanly today. It has not been the best of the best, but it'll work. Scrum down, the ball is in. HPC looking to find touch with a nice left boot. Will it find touch? Brilliant kick, close to the halfway mark. In fact, it's actually at the halfway mark. Brilliant kicking from HPC. Quite a lot of things have gone right for HPC this morning. The ability to pass, the ability to open up the opposition in open play. The constant reliance on their defensive structures. Just looking at temperatures once again, it is 24 degrees Celsius with a real feel of 26, and for me it feels like 44. It's quite humid as well, with no chance of rain today. The El Nino effect affecting rugby. HPC on the attack. Good handoff to just contain that pressure. But Manicaland getting there a bit quicker than everyone else and causing problems at that breakdown. Once again, some individual runs. Oh, big boy there from HPC. Taking it to Manicaland. Options. And a quick tap from HPC. This time going to the right and some good offload. Running the ball and enough support play. Would have loved to see that back and touch. And if you're just joining us, the score is 17-5 in favor of HPC. Remember, it's not all about the results for the under-20s. It's a lot to do with selection. It's a lot to do with gaining the favor of the coach. Do you fit into an African championship side structure of rugby? And a lot of the boys will be tested on their ability. The small moments, the little moments that define their game is what the coaches will be looking at. Meanwhile, Manicaland with that clean ball. They've been very consistent with the 4 and 6 ball line out. The jumpers doing a great job, but not so well with the throwers. I mean, look at in at least 3 instances, the hooker has not thrown in straight with the jumper higher than HPC, and that has been a challenge for Manicaland. But it's one of the smaller things that they have to worry about today. One thing that HPC has been tested today is the ability to work without the ball, to go for 5 minutes straight on defense mode. And this time they have the ball. Can they retain it? Do they have the right offloads? Do they have the right moves? And it looks like we might have a shadow run with 10 lateral with 13, looking like the second receiver will be on the second phase of play. But can Manicaland defend that? It's HPC ball. Straight out, not a clean pass. So that shadow is completely done. And Manicaland defending with some sterling pace. There we go. Modiwa Hakunawanu plays for all Georgian Dragons. Coming through is a good ball handler. And then we've got that tough 13 really taking it, and that battle with the 12 from Matt Billiland has been strong all day. And there we have Manicaland with the pressure defense, testing the young under-20s. Can they contain it for much longer? This time, there we go, with the under-20s with a nice dummy, a nice pass, good running line. Support play not coming through. This has been the perennial problem for HPC within this game. Ball retention, the moves are there, but can you contain pressure when you've got these huge bulls from Manicaland coming through, these bisons coming through with so much ire in your face? Can you hold on to your own ball? That is the true test of what the Bartes Trophy will be all about in a couple of weeks to come, and that will be at Old Georgians Sports Club. So do follow the page. We'll be covering a lot of that progression all the way to that. Manicaland gaining that ball, and it is Manicaland ball, scrappy within those rucks. Knock on first by Manicaland, and then HPC gaining that scrum. Now, here's a question that everyone should be asking themselves. HPC comfortably within what a standard set piece should be for at under 20 level. If you've been watching the Junior Sables for the last 2 or 3 years, this is where Junior Sables will score. It's a no-brainer. This is where they are supposed to score, and we'll have a look at what decisions will be made. Quite impressed by the 13 that we've got today. Tough boy, straight from a scrum. That hard line and the centers not communicating very well. They had opened up a wide gap between the centers, leaving them open to attack, and that is ideally not what you want, because Manicaland will always come through and give you pressure. They are looking to capitalize on those moments, and that's what they've been doing in the first half. Now, if you're just joining us, it is 55 minutes into it, and HPC leading Manicaland 17-5. There's something weird happening at the Nedbank Challenge Cup. The result is not a true reflection of what's going on the field. Despite them not being able to score, Manicaland have exhibited a vast improvement from what they had last week. It looks like the scrum from HPC has done very well to turn that one over. Ref not happy with that. And it's a turnover. It is now HPC ball. The task is clear. We need the boys to go across the line. We need the boys to finish through and score from the set pieces that they've been working on for weeks. A lot of dedication. Quick ball from Manicaland. The big man is on the rise. Good hands from the big man. And there we've got that very swift winger. Manicaland not exactly very happy with the ref's decision, but I like how they think off their feet. Very quick to restart that. The big man with great hands shows a shift in the way Zimbabwe has been playing its rugby. Thank you so much for joining us on this live stream. We are available on our Facebook page as well as on YouTube. It is Rising Stars, the Nedbank Challenge Cup, round 2, final round of matches. And this is the second game at the Machinery Exchange Stadium at Harare Sports Club. Scrum down, HPC ball. It would be great to starve Manicaland off the ball. Very strong defensive side. They've worked very hard in their defenses, testing HPC. From another set piece, can we get it right? Good ball received. And we've got options. Under 20s. Ah, brilliant pass to the far side. Some good rugby from under 20s. They restart this time from the left to the right with a hard line being drawn back inwards. Quite some strong rugby there from Manicaland. HPC on the go again. They will be testing that middle channel with defenders with their eye on that. And the ref managing that advantage line. And there we go. Skip pass and back inside. They restart that play inward. And Manicaland not making it easy for the youngsters. And it's a penalty. We did look at that offside line, and Manicaland just toying with the ref just to see how far he can allow them to get past, but this time getting penalized. There we go. Once again, Modiwa with the ball, and under 20s, good structures on that attack. Ball retention much better. Ah, nice dummy, clever play. Kudos to under 20s. They're back on track. This is the level and quality of under 20 rugby that we're used to watching, especially on the park. That brings the score to 22-5. And another easy conversion set. Now the big matchup that's coming very soon, it's going to be Old Hararians versus the Pit Bulls. Quite a lot of rugby still to come. We have seen some great rugby this morning. And coming up next, it's Old Hararians versus the Pit Bulls. The Pit Bulls having a lot to prove. A bit of cloud cover. I think someone's prayer has been answered. And there we have it. Should be a nice stock kick.
HPC 22, Martin 5. Team Nedbank, thank you for supporting the HPC.
And there we have the kick coming through. HPC leading 22-5 against Manicaland. 24, it's actually 24-5 against Manicaland. And just having a look at that Manicaland squad, Manicaland, despite them not winning or scoring points, they have played a fantastic role in testing the defensive structures of HPC. How much pressure can they contain on the park? A nice high ball. And HPC once again with that strong center. That boy's got some running lines with him, and a strong boy. Should be considered for today's selection. I hope he does make it. There we go. HPC once again on the attack with some wide play. Looking for options inside. And it looks like it's turned over. Very disappointing. Good to see the under-20s first on the ruck. Some good rucking structures there. Manicaland testing the boys once again. And they're coming through at the corner. Will they run it through? Some strong carries from Manicaland. And HPC trying to fight for that ball. Manicaland coming through this time with one of their replacements. Quick tap from Manicaland to see if the boys will be able to contain that. Some fancy sidestepping. Manicaland still in control. And the ref calls it as a penalty in favor of Manicaland. Another try for Manicaland will really make the score sheet reflect a lot closer to what's really happening on the ground. More injuries. This time we've got a couple of injuries, and it looks like one of the junior players is down. Just going to have a quick look at that. Safety is a major concern in the sport of rugby.
HPC players down.
It's an HPC player down, and that is really more worrying, especially for us, because this is a build-up to an Africa Cup. So do remember to go on our Facebook page to find out more about these youngsters. Some of these youngsters that are playing today are part of the Africa Cup winning squad. Get to find out their journey. Have a look at their stories up close with these future stars. I think we should stop calling them future stars because they are living in the present and they are stars in their own right. Just having a close-up at that danger man for Manicaland. Crowd starting to fill up. And the temperature has gone up. It is 26 degrees Celsius on the thermometer, but my skin is telling me it is 30. With just a few minutes to go, HPC under 20 is a blend of all the best players that came through from the Paramount Garments under 20 league. I love that none of the players look winded because the shorter format that we're playing today, about 25 minutes per half. And it is Manicaland ball. Scrum down Manicaland, and HPC doing well to contain that. Manicaland being forced to go back, and a great play from HPC. Pressure defense forcing them to go backwards all the way to the 22, and they're having to go blind. And with that nice change, some fresh legs for HPC. Brilliant changes. There we go, HPC fighting in there. That breakdown, dominance from HPC. And forcing Manicaland to knock the ball on, but they're being warned, the youngsters, in as much as they're putting their best foot forward, they have to watch that offside line, and they're being penalized for that. Great first time tackling from HPC. Manicaland on the attack with a short pass. Individual play. This is where they're very dangerous. A lot of picking going from HPC. And this time HPC not looking for an exit plan. They do look for an exit plan. And that is the end of match number 2. HPC, congratulations on beating Manicaland by 24 points to 5. Coming up next is the big matchup. Marasta Old Hararians versus the Pitbulls. 2 winners from last week. It'll be match number 3. Good morning still here at Harare Sports Club to you. Welcome to this live coverage of the Nedbank Rugby Challenge Cup, third match of the day, and this one promises to be an absolute humdinger. One of the things that I must say though is first and foremost, introduction to the commentary box, Ruvimbo Chakureka and Sydney Sanu. Sydney, this one promises to be a titanic clash, because we're looking at an old Hararian side which is littered with Goshawks as well as Sables players, whilst you've also got a Pitbull side which has more recently stepped into senior rugby, a lot of them graduating from the Pitbulls dominant under-20 side. This is going to be a fantastic clash.
It's going to be an epic clash between the youngsters who would like to prove themselves against their seniors, and of course not to forget that in the Pitbulls lineup we do have the likes of Marumise, a former under-20 player who played for Zim last year in the Bathurst Trophy. So obviously they'll be looking forward to prove themselves as we see the Pitbulls winning themselves a kick-off, and they are looking forward to attack, more pressure coming in from the breakdown from the Marasta setup. It's still a tussle on the breakdown, but it seems as if the Pitbulls have secured themselves possession, and it is still Pitbull trying to build their phase as they play their second phase in this encounter, as they look to outside to attack blind side. As you see Ghost just releasing a player, and we all remember Ghost from the under-20 setup that did us proud at the Bathurst Trophy last year. And obviously you cannot rule out the Pitbulls. They won themselves a game against the old Georgians last weekend.
Oh yes, so doing a fantastic job of that. That's Panasham Gorogodi losing the ball in contact, but that's a beautiful grabber there to just try and see if they can get into that try box. And it looks like there was a high tackle initially there against Pitbulls. So some interesting names as well that you've been going through as we have just witnessed the first part of this match. So Marumisa, yes, he was called to the larger squad by Sean D'Souza for the Under-20 Bathurst Trophy. And then you're looking at Vincent Chimwendo, also nicknamed Ghost, coming through as well. He's playing 8th man today. Panasham Gorogodi as well. He went to the Bathurst Trophy as well last year. Unfortunately suffered an injury. Otherwise could have been part of the Junior World Trophy side as well. So he'll also be wanting to make an impression. But let's talk a little bit about the old Hararian side. I mean, just looking at Haithman there, very much, someone that we know, Aidan Burnett, he's within the picture. And then we've also got a man who has also shown himself within the colors of the Cheetahs as well as the Sables, and that is Brendan Mudzekenyedzi, who will be playing the outside center. But this time round, coming from the line out, the Pitbulls are pushing for that try line. Have they gained that ball? Have they stolen it? No, they haven't. Pitbull still on the attack, looking for some space to get in. Again, looking to go wide. Surely they should be able to punch holes here, but not able to release the ball on time. A quick pick and go. Ngorogodi now looking for some action there, but well held up by Old Hararians. Oh, well, he hasn't been pushed into touch. Oh, just a mistake there, knocking it on. So that was some of the pressure coming from Old Hararians. But Old Hararians might be celebrating there, but they were under some significant pressure from the Pitbulls.
Yes, you could see that they worked really hard, especially to do what we call cover defense on the right side of the field. It means that, someone wasn't doing his job. But however, still Pitbulls, they are piling pressure on this star-studded Old Hararian side. We can also talk of Diva, Big Diva. The Lock is an ex-Harare Sports Club player, but he decided to join the Red Lions Rifles and join the Green Machine. It will be interesting to see how is he going to apply himself when he faces his former club, that is Harare Sports Club. But also not to forget, on the bench, we've got Tongi, an ex-Prince Edward player, also played a few games under Peter de Villiers back in the days, but it seems as if he's back in the fold, looking forward to prove himself. They are saying, now according to the news, they're saying that this OH, they do possess the possible and probable squad that could go all the way to represent Zimbabwe in the upcoming test games.
Oh yes, well, we'll see whether that will be the case, but right now it doesn't seem like it because Pitbulls are not giving them a shot. But luckily there, Pride Nyameni able to extract a penalty from the base of the scrum. The scrum was wheeling, and I think a little bit too eager were Pitbulls to just get onto the ball and apply some pressure. But this looks like it is going to be Shavanu who is going to be taking care of the duties here from Olderarians. That is the number 10, Tinotenda Shavanu. He also is the vice captain of Olderarians this season. A pretty seasoned campaigner. I started seeing him when he was still at Prince Edward Shavanu.
Yeah, it seems as if
Yes,
it's
Mugorogodi.
Pitbulls, this is where they are dangerous when it comes to counter-attack rugby. As you see,
Long pass.
long pass. Unfortunately, he couldn't find his outside center. So it's going to be a line out to Olderarians, and the referee wants to have a chat with captains, rather the Pitbull captain. So they've just opted to go for a line out. So it's going to be a Pitbull's line out.
So
And
that
then-
is Aspiration Mutore, who is on to the line out, trying to get that one. It was clean, needs to try and get the ball out, but it wasn't as clean on receiving it. Looking now to just try and make sure that they can gather some phases. Needs to be careful there, Aidan Burnett.
And it is a good kick from the Pitbulls. And let's see how Kanyangarara, under 20 player, who represents Zimbabwe at the Bathurst Trophy, with an interesting offload there, releasing Thai Warrior,
Yeah,
who's wearing the jersey number 14, another Sables player as well. Had a few caps last year, played for the Goshawks.
oh, well, there's a huge overlap here. Olderarians can make use of that. They've even got the likes of Pamire as well in there, who was just about to get away. But it looks like there is an injury to two Pitbulls players. And immediately the referee having a little bit of a chat with David Makamba, Big Dave. Maybe he'll need to be careful there. Saw a little bit of a scuffle as well between Marumisa and Aidan Burnett. Let's just say offset. So hopefully that won't continue as the match wears on. But a couple of injuries here, and I'm sure head coach Jeff Madake will be a little bit concerned because injuries within the first half do actually force you to make forced changes. And those forced changes could actually disturb the equilibrium of the team and what you would have worked on during practice.
You're spot on there, Wimbo. But let's talk about the physicality from both squads. You know, Pitbulls holding their own. They are not letting Olderarians run all over them. Obviously, in these early minutes, Pitbulls enjoying territory and possession in the half of Olderarians.
Well, I'm a little bit concerned as well, particularly on the physicality side of things. Would this be the best kind of strategy? I mean, you're talking about guys that have gone through levels of conditioning at various stages within their careers. Some of them have gone through conditioning at professional levels. There is a high likelihood that they are more conditioned than the guys from Pitbulls. Yes, the youngsters from Pitbulls could be, fit. But physicality is always something that can be predetermined by the issue of conditioning. I don't think they should actually be playing a physical game. I actually feel that they should be making them run. We're looking at experienced campaigners. You've got Brian Makamure there. I mean, he's played for Olderarians for
more than a
days.
decade now.
Yeah. And these are the people that you should be running into the ground. Run them into the ground. Even the likes of Big Dave, he's now an experienced campaigner. Lots of their forwards, very big forwards there. You want to run them into the ground. So let them run the ball. Get the likes of Gorogodi to be running onto it. I mean, he's a very fast-paced runner, quite powerful as well once he gets onto the ball. So let's try and achieve that. That's if Pitbulls intend to continuously play this game for 80 minutes, because it's going to be a long haul if injuries are starting in the first half.
Yes, of course. I mean, injuries are part of the game, Ruimbo. there is no way that you would avoid injuries, especially playing with a big squad like that. You talk of Aiden Barnett, Dave Manicaland standing on 2.01 meters tall and 120 kilograms. You would expect that if he just leans on you, trust me, it's not something that you'd feel that feeling would not be nice. But like what you've said, I totally agree with you. I don't know why Pitbulls, they've opted to go physical. Remember, their encounter against all Georgians, they play against a bigger team than them, but they managed to move the ball and get a lot of tries from that style of play.
Oh yes, we would definitely love to see that happening. But of course, the break in play is because of the injury coming on Aspiration Mutore. He has, unfortunately, in that breakdown, encountering some heavy forwards, and at the breakdown is also going to be very, very important to see what is going to happen there. But it's not looking too good for Mutore. He's going to be carried off by the medical team, and hopefully he will be well enough to get into the season. Hopefully there's no dislocations, broken collarbones, or any one of those things, or broken necks even. These things, they do happen in rugby. It is a contact sport, but I would love to see him getting back onto the field of play at some particular point, but I don't think it is going to be for today. For those of you that are just tuning in on Rising Stars Media, you can catch all the action live and direct here from Harare Sports Club, or better yet, you can come and see it live and direct at Harare Sports Club. Come down here, let's enjoy the sun together. Let's also enjoy all that is going to be coming through. So we are having the first round of games this morning, and then we're going to have a second round of games, which is going to determine the rankings for this tournament, and ultimately where teams are going to be placed when it comes to next year, and how they'll then be paired going into the Nedbank Rugby Challenge Cup in 2025. But it has been an interesting tournament so far, Sydney. Last weekend we were here. We saw Manicaland playing today. They had a much better performance that they brought to the table, but still were no match for the HPC under-20 side, losing out there. And it was also another very good performance from Manicaland, though they lost by 6 points to Old Georgians, 26-20. That was the score. But again, it was an issue of maybe just game management, which should come as the season progresses. When the senior season starts, you get more game time, your game awareness becomes better, and ultimately it all works out. So always good to see players applauding each other when another one is injured, whether opposition or from your same side. And so with that, we will return to play. It is going to be a penalty in favor of Olderarians, and not rolling away from the tackle. And once again, it is going to be a kick into touch. Missed the last one, did Shalan, but this time round he got it right. Not too many meters gained though.
Yeah, because look, it's a little bit windy here at Harare Sports Club, so obviously if you don't, execute your clearance kick perfectly, it means that you are going to miss the mark, or the ball is going to go all the way to the dead ball, or you're going to kick it right to your opponent. So you just need to make sure that you are spot on and you execute your kicks perfectly. As we see the Olderarians winning their first line out in this encounter. It was a little bit scrappy. As you see there, they released the blindside flanker who sits one down, and a good clean ball. And here comes Big Diva standing at 2.01 meters. Another Sabres player. But pressure coming on the breakdown. Seems as if the Pitbull. Here comes Brandon Zekenyedzi. And he managed to beat his two defenders. And it is Pride with always looking for that quick ball, Rubimbo. And pressure on the breakdown. And it seems as if Pitbulls, they've managed to win themselves that breakdown. Now they are looking forward to clear off their lines. Here comes not a convincing kick, but however they win themselves a long arm penalty, and the all-age guys being judged for not rolling away. So they would welcome this penalty. it's a sigh of relief.
Oh yes, whilst we're talking about the sigh of relief, one of the other things as well, I am noticing Brian Makamure playing a very important role, because amongst their forwards, they seem to be losing their heads just a little bit, trying to prove to the youngsters, where the older guys, an unnecessary part.
Certainly.
An unnecessary part for them to actually be, getting agitated with these youngsters. They need to remain calm. They need to exercise their experience. That is what is going to be called for, and that is what is going to be required from them. So we do have a line-out that is going to be coming through, but I can guess that most probably the jumper will be Vincent Chimwendo, and that ball didn't go anywhere. And all Durarians have stolen it and now looking to run it down the line. That is Pamire, goes into contact, puts in 1 or 2 meters. Pride Nyameni struggling at the breakdown because all Durarians are not protecting their ball well enough.
Great job from the Pit Bulls. So far they've won 2 out of 3 breakdowns. That is when they were defending. So Pit Bulls, I'm really worried about Pit Bulls playing this playing physically. Their strength, we all know that they keep that ball in hand like that. Unfortunately, the ball got spilled over there, so it's going to be a forward pass, a scrum to Odararians. We know that we know that the Pit Bulls, they pride themselves with the ball in hand, looking for the space outside. It seems as if today they do not want to play that sort of rugby, Wimbo. What's going on?
I'm not so sure what the communication would be, but I'm sure if Jeff Mataki is going to have a little bit of a conversation with the boys, I'm sure he would say, why do I have all of my backline players with very clean shorts? And that is a conversation that has to definitely be answered. But let's see how they go about things here, whether they can put in a big scrum, because they're coming up against a serious forward pack here. From Old Durarians. They are actually driving toe-to-toe with them. The scrum is wheeling, and it's a penalty against the Pit Bulls. I'm a little bit concerned there that maybe the referee didn't quite read the scrum well enough there, because I felt that Old Durarians was actually buckling under the pressure, not knowing which one between the tighthead or the loosehead, that is either Zikomborero, Chimoto, or Brian Makamure, whoever was buckling under pressure, because that's the tight and loosehead, a pairing that we have. But there we go, Marumisa having a chat to by the referee, and he will be very stern, and Pit Bulls will also need to watch out in terms of their discipline. So nonetheless, it is a penalty again, and Shawanu will do the necessary. He will look to find touch, this time hopefully in the 5 meter of Pit Bulls, but he doesn't get it that far either way, so he won't mind too much. Just inside the 22, it will be an attacking line out. Very good to see Simbak Kanyangarara, playing the fullback position. We know that he did that as well for the under-20 Bates team, and playing behind such an experienced set of guys. It's really good. But Makamba there with the line out, picking it up. Nyameni to Shawanu, to Pamire. Mutsekenyezi, the dummy, looking for the gap. Might just find it on the other side. Lovely pass on the inside. Has just created an overlap. Needed to have offloaded that one. Did Nyaude. But still on the front foot. Nyameni. To Aiden Burnett. Great hands. Needed to have released that one. Daryl Makwasha was in for all my money. Pamire. Now Nyameni looking for the ball. Needs it. Wants it quick. Looking for runners. Aiden Burnett ready. He's going to receive it. He's going to go in. I love it when you tackle hard and low. You can get any big man down using that technique.
That is true, Ruimbo, but right there he sucked in 3 guys, and there is an overlap. Unfortunately for the Odararians, or fortunately they are still going, but I thought that would have been a try, because it was a 3-on-1 situation, but pressure coming down from the Pit Bulls. It seems as if they've won themselves precious possession right in their 22. So now OH, they've moved 10 backs forward, now they have moved 15 backs forward. So it's going to be worrying, especially for the OH technical team, because they are not being lethal, especially when it comes to, scoring tries or converting all that pressure into points, especially in the 22 of the pit bulls.
Oh yes, I think that one will definitely be a conversation that the likes of Preya Chitendere, who I know is sitting on that bench, particularly as a forward, will also have with the boys. We should be executing, we should be finishing. I do know that as well. The newly appointed interim Sables head coach, Pete Bernardi, will also have a little bit of a conversation with the boys and expect them to finish off. They've got more of the physicality. They should put pit bulls in to that physicality, and that's exactly what they're trying to do here. Mudzekenyedzi taken down. Nyameni to Nyaude. Nyaude
with a good offload, looking for his back rower.
And that's a Chimoto taken down. Nyameni out to Shavanu. Shavanu to Mdzekenyedzi. Mdzekenyedzi looking for a gap, maybe just being a little bit too elaborate. There was an overlap on the far side.
Forwards crying for the ball, literally screaming the ball ngaruye, meaning that the ball they should play us this side. Pride with trying to be clever there, looking for a grabber, but well read by the pit bulls. And the foot race is on.
Look at the chase, look at the chase.
And the OH player is isolated there and he decides to play it safe.
Smart move from Simbaka Nyangarara. Whatever else he would have done there would have cost them, and that would have been a serious challenge. So pit bulls have done well enough there and got themselves out of trouble, and they would say for the second time are now within the half of Olderarians. They've been pinned in their own half for a very long time, and Sydney, as a coach, I know you would be heavily disappointed with the way that Olderarians did not finish it off. Marasta are surely going to have a stern talking to, because you have to finish off when you get into those places. But I must point out to the second fact that Pit Bulls have only won one line out. They've had two so far. They lost the other one, but it looks like the experienced Brian Nyaude has come back into the line out. And once again, I can guess who's going to be the jumper. Oh, what a take! Is that a try?
No, try fever got the better of him. And unfortunately,
well, it looks like the referee here will point to the fact that that one did not go in straight. That one did not go in straight.
So it's going to be a scrum. But it was a good set-piece move. However, it was not executed perfectly. But that is the way. And it is a decent kick by Savanu from his 22. Managed to get 30 yards. So it's going to be another Pit Bulls line-out throw.
So Pit Bulls this time round handing the line-out duties to number 17, that's Munaka. And once again, their lineouts are not working. Nyaude, with all of the experience there, just stealing the ball day in, day out. Another bit of an overlap. Gorgodi is very isolated there, needs some help, and finally gets it. But Olderarians have made some good meters. They've made over 30 meters now, right? Well, just under 30 meters. They're just on the 22. And there we go. Oh my word, an obstruction. That is a sin, one would say.
I mean, it's lack of communication, and Pride there got isolated. And he played that ball out of touch. I mean, there wasn't much that he could do. He was isolated. He's not the biggest guy on the field of play. And there were four guys from Pit Bulls chasing him. And he tried to get that ball. And unfortunately, all he could do was just to punch that ball out of play. And
but there is a big question.
Way of defending from Olderarians.
There is a big question, and I can see what the crowd is complaining about, as well as Coach Jeff Madage. That for me looked like a 50-22, didn't it?
Yeah.
And yet the possession seems to have gone to Olderarians. So
not to forget the last touch by Pride. He was the last man to touch that ball out of play.
So not so sure what is happening there, but nonetheless, we'll see how this one will pan out. Surely Pitbulls will be hard done if a try is actually scored. And finally, after discussion and after the crowd had to intervene in the referee decision making, finally we do have a 50-22 given to the Pitbulls. But their lineouts are not working, Sydney. They are not working.
Yeah, because most of the time they are looking forward to play that 4-ball, and 4-ball, OH have deployed their tallest guys there. So this time around opting for the 6-ball, and it worked. And someone had to spill it over, so it's a knock-on. Pitbulls.
Well, huge overlap here. Big ball on the outside by Brendan Mutsekenyenzi. Gets it to Simbarashe Kanyangarara, now to their winger, wearing the number 11 jersey here. And that is Kodakwashe Gotora. And again, they bring it back to where initially there was that knock-on. So just need to be a little bit awake there, do the Pitbulls. And I think that one was lost by Prince Kapesi. He was the one who was running onto that. And you would have felt that Pitbulls were really in the hunt and could have taken a bite-sized chunk of the dreadlocks that Marastas actually have. But that is not to be. Let's see how things go from here. Pride Nyameni on the ball.
So the Lions this time around looks like they've won themselves a clean ball off a scrum, and it's going to be Shalanu. And that's not a convincing kick. That traveled backwards. So that ball, if I'm not mistaken, could have traveled at least 2 meters, quickly taken by Pitbulls. And the referee, no, he wants it to be taken again. I don't know why. It's only in Zimbabwe where you see all these quick balls. They are not allowed to play quick off your line out. So I don't know, maybe it's, I don't know.
Oh, well, let's just say it's left to the referee's discretion. But then, again, very interesting as well to see why that would have been not allowed. There we go, a line out this time round taken by Vincent Chimwendo. Oh, the pass goes way over the runner, but that's a good hit and good meters there that are gained. Now Pitbulls, can they make sure they keep the ball safe? Dave Makamba there trying to hold on to the short, but the Pitbulls just ripping away. Oh, well, that's a chip over the top, almost worked out, and it was knocked on just in front of the whitewash. Now Pitbulls are the ones that are also guilty of not executing. When you're that close to the whitewash, you should score.
These youngsters should stay, they should try to stay calm, build phases, and then release the black line players. But as of now, you could see the forward standing in between the fly half and the scrum half. So the scrum half was looking for that long pass to the fly half, but unfortunately, a forwards, you know how it is, Wimbo, when you're in the field of play. There shouldn't be anyone between the scrum half and the fly half. All the forwards should play, especially at that stage. All forwards should play off fly half, and a big scrum coming in from the Pitbulls. However,
well, that is a penalty of that scrum. Are they going to go for a quick tap and go? They've got so many men on the outside, a huge overlap, but they're taking far too much time. Are they going to decide to go for posts? I'm not so sure. From a test mentality, it would be go for post because the game is so tight. But also from the ability as well of seeing where the game is, I'm sure they could have gone for a quick tap, passed the ball down the line, and they could have actually had their try. But they decide to go test rugby on us here. They are going to go for the conversion, and it will make sense. Get the 3 points, get all Durarians chasing the game, and hopefully more mistakes from Marasta should allow more opportunities for Pitbulls to attack.
I would like to agree with Pitbull's technical team's decision, Ruimbo. It is a game of margin. As you could see, they've played for 15-20 minutes, and no one. It is difficult for both teams to score points. So I just think that it's very, very important if you take those easy 3 points. What is that?
Oh, that is the worst possible decision He has been held up.
Oh my word.
I am just as stunned as many within the ground. What was that?
I don't know what they were trying to do there, Wimbo. It almost worked, unfortunately or fortunately for them. So it's going to be now the referee is consulting with both TJs. So let's just, and there goes the halftime buzzer.
Well, it is the halftime break. This match is deadlocked at 0-0. Both sides had opportunities. In fact, all Dararians had the biggest opportunity for almost 10 minutes. They were in the half of Pitbulls. They didn't execute. Pitbulls here failing to execute an opportunity which was dead in front of them, whether going for posts or even going for the try. But nonetheless, we go to the halftime break and it is 0-0.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Nedbank Rugby Challenge Cup. And on the field of play, it is Old Ararians taking on Pit Bulls. Green Machine wearing their traditional light green and black shorts, and as for Pit Bulls wearing their black tops with a white jersey. And in the commentary box, it's me, Sydney Sawanu, joined by Ruimbo Chaoreka. Welcome, buddy.
Oh, yes. Okay, so back to the second half. Let's just say it's a distant memory, a bad dream that we had at the end of that first half. In terms of poor execution there by Pit Bulls, who really could have been leading 3-0 at this particular point and would have been forcing Old Ararians to chase the game. But right now, Old Ararians will come back, say even Stevens, second half, new clean slate, let's push. Good take by Pit Bulls under pressure. Again, is that a pick and go? Oh my word, he has gone into, well, almost was bound in a mold there. Once again, Pit Bulls looking for the physical route, haven't really stretched Old Ararians on the blind side. Can they do something? Doesn't look like it. Marumisa decides to go for it, but he picks up the ball once again, and that will be picked up by Daryl Makwasha. Isolated, but referee had spotted a previous infringement there, and that was offside line. So Old Ararians unfortunate not to get that one, but they had actually done everything correct there.
And it is a good kick for touch by Pit Bulls. So Pit Bulls applying pressure in these early minutes or early seconds of the second half, Ruimbo. It seems as if the 2 ball was not working for them. They've now opted to use that 6 ball. Now they are in Brian Yaude with all that experience. Well read by Brian Yaude. As you see the Thai Warrior and men known as Thai Warrior going into contact. Still is OH. Shavanu as he finds the outside sender, Zekenyezi.
Well, he's making it through, but finally taken down. Old Ararians can still attack, but a good tackle on Pride Nyameni, but that results in a penalty advantage. So Old Ararians here now on the charge. Big Dave Makamba gets 1 or 2 more meters. Nyameni, ball out. Lovely step inside. Again, more to go. Pit Bulls have realigned themselves. That ball has been a little bit too slow. Shamanu, Aiden Burnett. Again, oh goodness me. But they will come back for the penalty advantage. And I'm sure Old Ararians, if they are smart, should do the smart thing. Take the 3 points and now force Pit Bulls to chase the game. Because they are the less experienced as compared to you. So take the 3 points, play test rugby, force them into a position where they have to chase the game.
Oh, remember, it's going to be a captain score at the end of the day. I wish you were the captain on the field.
The captain in the commentary box. So,
so captain score. So it looks like they are going to opt for those 3 points, as you see there. The technical bench, they've cancelled it. So they've opted for a line out. Another interesting decision by the captain of the day. Time is ticking. It's all about converting pressure into points. Remember, this is a cup game. This is not a league. So get all you can whilst you can.
Yeah, get all you can all you get, and poison the rest. That's what they usually say. But look, this is exactly my point. I understand why they went for the line out. They've been winning line outs all the way through. That one didn't go in straight.
And it's knock on. Referee says knock on, it was overcooked. I don't know what they were thinking there.
Well, I know what they were thinking. They were thinking an 8 ball would work, but clearly that one didn't work. But it comes back again, Sydney. You really have to execute when you get these things. And I think this is one of the challenges I think that we've spoken about throughout the years, is that our set pieces here in the nation of Zimbabwe are something that is quite questionable. our execution of set pieces, that is line outs, talking about driving mauls and so on, getting those line outs right and securing the ball correctly. It seems like we aren't able to do that, or we're not doing that well enough for whatever reason. Pitbulls here have to get the ball out quick.
Ooh,
that is a
Anna.
horrible
Oh, dear.
pass. A horrible pass. And that one turns possession over to Old Irarians. This is an attacking scrum, and this is exactly what they would have wanted. From here, I believe they're going to drive with every ounce of muscle that they have within their bones and try to drive the Pitbull scrum over so that they can dot down the 5 points. This should be the simple strategy. I think Dave Makamba, Aiden Burnett, Brian Nyaude, Brian Makamure, Zikomborero Chimoto, all of them know exactly what needs to be done here. Push as hard as you can so that you can get over that try line.
Let's see how this scrum pans out. But looks like it's going to be a ball that is going to go to the backs. Why? Look at the way that the back line is standing. It looks like they want to play a set piece move. But earlier on, you spoke about Zimbabwean teams, especially clubs, even it also goes all the way to the national teams. We are very pure when it comes to decision making on set plays, whether it's an offensive set play or it's an attacking set play. Like earlier on, Pitbulls won themselves a beautiful scrum. What do? They failed to execute. Now look at that scrum going, and once again they've decided to use their backline players. Pride looking for that early ball. Desperate defending from the Pitbulls, and it looks like Shabanu, there was a guy who was free, but however he decided to go in contact decision making, and that looks like Ombiro was being introduced, and he opts to go for a crash ball. Simba Kanyangarara couldn't find his men, and the ball was picked by Thai Warrior, and the pick and go. It is a try. And it's going to be Simba Kanyangarara, the fullback for Old Irarians, jotting down. It was a hard work. They had to put in a lot of hard work, Rimbo, for them to score that try.
Oh yes, a lot of hard work. It has been a tough assignment, but we have to also just give it up to the fact that they executed finally in the 22 or in the 5 meter of Pitbulls. They failed it in the first half, but this time round they were more clinical. Once they got the chance, once the turnover came, you actually expected that to be dotted down. So 5 points, Simba Rashe Kanyangarara, he'll be a happy camper. But as you've mentioned, we've seen the introduction of Tinashe Ombiro. Well, hasn't lost his height or size there. And we all know the fantastic boot that he possesses, and so you'll find that Old Irarians will be spoiled for choice when it comes to those that can take conversions, those that can go for penalty goal conversions. All of that will definitely be something that they will look to Tinashe Ombiro as well as Tinotenda Shawanu as well to execute.
Yeah, Ombiro gifted with size, so obviously that will help Marasta, especially with this type of style of play. They would like to impose on the Pitbulls, that is physicality, and so far it has paid dividends with a conversion to come, and it's not good. It was short. The distance was good, but however the angle, Shavanu, they couldn't find it. So it is Old Irarians 5, Pitbulls 0. Pitbulls, they were guilty of fluffing chances earlier on. Even right before the halftime, they were supposed to take those 3 points, and they opted for an unorthodox way of scoring, and they fluffed 3 points. So Shavanu, that was his last contribution in this encounter.
And so it looks like he'll be replaced by Tinashe Ombiro, and ball comes out. The big burly forward there, wearing jersey number 25 for Old Irarians. That is
so Ombiro, he opted to go for a crash ball. There was an overlap, and this time around doing justice as he releases his inside center. Pride to Brian as he fakes and goes into contact, drawing 3 people. And Ombiro going for almost a cross kick. Tightly contested. Marasta once again losing possession. I don't know what Ombiro was thinking there, but that wasn't the smartest move. So Brian Nyaude just shutting his men down. Pete Booz, it's a +1 as they release Ghost, Captain Fantastic. Pete Booz, wow! Look at that shot ball. It's a broken play, 2-on-1 situation. That's what we know, Pete Booz. This is the best of Pete Booz rugby.
Oh yes, the best of Pit Bulls rugby, and one of the things you don't want to do is find yourself in broken play against Pit Bulls and they're on the counter attack. Well, their fans have gone into delirium, but one of the things that I must point to the fact is that Pit Bulls in broken play are very dangerous once they get onto the ball. And once you saw that gap and you found that running gap, the support play was right there and it was taken up. So a fantastic try coming in from the Pit Bulls, and they will be happy. It's now 5 points apiece, with Pit Bulls having the potential to actually take the lead after Old Irarians had punished the Pit Bulls for a mistake.
Yes, Old Irarians there, it was a move that started off Ombiro. I don't know, he was trying to execute that cross kick. It was poorly done. And Pit Bulls, they just took that and then they punished it. But you can see from the OH bench, they've introduced 2 players on the field of play. It's Taku Chiesa. So obviously it's going to go to his favorite position. That is the inside center. As we see there, Pamire out. Big Dave is also going to the bench. So as it stands, it's Pit Bulls with that 2-point lead. Can they go all the way and protect it? Another clever chip kick, but well read there by Old Irarians number 11 player, but he's isolated and referee's arm is out, favoring the Old Irarians players. Pride to Ombiro. Once again, a mix-up between Old Irarians players. Seems as if they're struggling with their lines of attack, Rimbo. Everyone wants the ball, even if that ball is not meant to go into his channel, he still wants that ball. So it will end up as confusion.
Oh yes, most definitely confusion, but Tinashe Ombiro maybe can redeem himself here with a better kick after having failed that kick, which actually resulted in the try, because it was just a phase or two before then Pit Bulls were able to get back into the thick of things and score. And so he has found touch just on the 22, and now it's nervy moments. So Tamuka Pamire being substituted there and replaced by Takudzwa Chiesa, and it looks like a change within the line, because now it looks like we've got Tinashe Ombiro. He has taken up the fly-off position. Brendan Mutsekenyedzi is now the inside center. Takudzwa Chiesa comes on the outside center position, whilst Daryl Makwasha, also known as Thigh Warrior, takes the wing position.
So is his Pride looking for his forwards to do a little bit of work. It seems as if Ombiro with a long pass to Kanyangarara, the gentleman who scored the try earlier, as he offloads the ball to Taku Chiesa, and it was judged. No, the play still continues. The fans were complaining because they thought that it was a forward pass, but however, play continues. Pride, Ombiro long pass to Brian Nyaude, who had to score.
And that was a fantastic running line as well from Brian Nyaude. The overlap was always there. Once the quick ball continued to come from Pride Nyameni, you expected only one thing. And once the ball went to hand there, it was just an easy pass to Brian Nyaude, and he jotted that one down. The Pit Bulls defense just couldn't quickly realign themselves. They found it tough going. a hard time, but once again they are back on the back foot. Of course, needing to see whether this conversion will go over. Not so sure who's whether it is Tinashe Hombiro or it is someone else, but it looks like it is Hombiro who's taking over these duties, and he has converted that one. So 12-7, still not out of it are the Pit Bulls, still fighting on, but they need to be more careful now. You cannot afford knock-ons, you cannot afford to be giving away possession.
Seems as if all Dorarians are struggling as a unit, but they always have that class and the X factor within their ranks. You know, people who can change the game. So it is going to be all Dorarians. What are they going to do this time around? And that pass by Brandon Mjekaniadzi was not convincing. So the player, the blind side winger for OH, just going out of play. So it's going to be an attacking line-out throw to the Pit Bulls, who only need 5 points to level scores here.
I am a little bit disappointed, really, that Pit Bulls have not used the likes of Panasham Gorogodi, also nicknamed Mugo, in his under 20 days. I mean, the young man was phenomenal for Pit Bulls.
It was a great line by the Pit Bulls prop, but the referee is calling for the Order Lions players to release him. A fake and go as he runs into traffic. Pit Bulls with the ball, only 3 guys. What are they going to do this time around? And a clever kick. Oh, and unfortunately the Harare Sports Club players were in. The Harare Sports Club, the hosts, they were training, and unfortunately that ball deflected.
I think it comes back to one of the things that we have been calling for quite a long time, and that.
So the player that we were confusing all along was Dwadwa. He has the same stature and height as that one of Ombiro. So number 23 is Dwadwa.
That is obviously Tonderai Chiwambutsa, for those that may not know him.
And the player who's wearing jersey number 12 is known as Tongi. Another, can we say, ex-Sabres, well, still within the Sabres ranks. Played a few caps for the Zimbabwe Sabres. An ex-Prince Edward player also representing Zimbabwe at the Academy Week. Zimbabwe always sends a team to South Africa annually.
Well, ball is still stuck within the scrum, and even though Tonderai Chiwambutsa wanted to go ahead, referee allowed that one to keep on going and called for it to be played back again. And so the player nicknamed Tsongi is Ernest Mzengerere. For those of you as well that may not know, within the rugby circles of Zimbabwe, he is nicknamed Tsongi. Fantastic player. Hopefully we can see more and more of him. Had at one point retired from rugby altogether after a couple of frustrations, but now
he was doing skits. He was doing skits, but other Lions players there losing a scrum, but thankfully for Tsongi, Nyaude to Ombiro, that was a poor handling skill by Ombiro. He should have known better, but the referee says play on. A pretty interesting call. The third judge should have spoken to, but once again, ball not going to hand. Odararians, once again, Brian Yauda is down on the ground.
Well, in all fairness, there was a little bit of a late tackle on him as he had released the ball, and that with the TMO could have actually ended up in a penalty against the Pit Bulls, but they'll consider themselves lucky. So a couple of calls that were missed there by the referee, which the touch judge really should have intervened. I mean, if we could see it all the way from the commentary box, surely the touch judge should have been able to see it from the touchline where he was even closer to the play.
Yeah, I mean, anyone could see that it was a knock-on, but it is good to see that Brian Nyaude, the man who scored the second try for Odam Hararians, is up on his feet, looking to do a little bit of work. I'm not sure which position he's playing there, so it means that, but however, it's still a Pit Bulls with the ball in hand. clever kick, but well read by Brian Mzekenyedzi. He used to ply his trade in New Zealand. Once again, it is Brian Mzekenyedzi. Brendan Mzekenyedzi, pardon me. Ombiro with a kick. He could only find a Pitbulls player. So goes the captain for Pitbulls. He wants that ball. He's running across. And a big tackle coming in. But thankfully for Pitbulls, they still have the possession. What are they going to do this time around? Still is Pitbulls with a kick. And it's going to Brendan Mzekenyedzi.
Well, they are under serious pressure, are the Pitbulls here, and really not finding a way to go. That was a big hit. That was a big hit. And Ombiro decides to go over the top here. Daryl Makwasha will chase. This is a fantastic kick, but maybe it might go over that in-goal area, and it will bring play all the way back to where Tinashe Ombiro kicked the ball from. So again, Pitbulls just under some significant pressure, and Old Orarians not punishing them by running the ball through the hands. A lot of players were offside from Pitbulls. Really could have tried to make things difficult there for the Pitbull side. But just as a reminder, if you're just joining us in the action, you can see on the screen 12 points to 7 are Old Orarians leading. But basically, they are breathing just above the surface of the water. Pitbulls have applied some serious pressure on them, but Pitbulls have just not been clinical enough today, and they have suffered for that. The experience from Old Orarians is still telling. So a penalty here. And the referee now pushing that one forward. I'm not so sure if there was any form of chirping that may have happened there, but he's going to signal the penalty.
I don't know what Red Sports Club are doing there, but they should just respect the players on the field of play. Because right now they are sort of intervening and interfering. But Pitbulls just decided to go for a quick tap. And ball lost by Pitbulls. And Odararians.
Well, good pressure in defense from Pitbulls. But it's back to Hombiro, who will use his experience to get it downfield. And Vincent Chimwendo, also nicknamed Ghost, now on his bike, looking for that pass. Goes into contact, an unnecessary evil, one would say.
Why are they tucking in the ball? There were 4 players who were literally crying out for that ball. And it looks like pressure on the breakdown.
And Old Orarians seem to have stolen it. And it's a penalty, yes, holding on. And the Pitbulls clearly an isolated run.
It looks like hands in the rug, Ruimbo. But however, the referee just let play proceed.
To be honest, I think it comes back to what we were talking about earlier in the first half. I did mention, can Pitbulls handle the pressure for 80 minutes? Consistently being physical. And now they are looking like a deer in headlights, not knowing what to do with the ball as they are going about things right now. They need to play a more structured game. They need to be able to spread the ball out wide. There was no need for Vincent Chimwendo to have gone into contact at that point. He also needed to have kicked the ball back. He may be a forward, but this is the modern game. You should be able to kick.
My coach used to say, forwards don't kick and will never kick.
No,
Where was the back three there? Because you'd expect, the back three to be there. The another wing, maybe fullback. He should have dealt with that threat earlier on. But Kamwendo doing what he knows best is crashing. So
Sydney is should have, would have, could have. We can't talk about assumptions. If you are not there, or if your back line is not there, you're the last line of defense, you have to kick it forward. It's better to get the rest of your team on side so that you can be able to reset your play. flankers are kicking. We're seeing it at international level. We're seeing hookers kicking if it's that bad. We need to play modern day rugby. We can't play rugby from the past. We have to be able to play rugby which is beneficial for our game and the development of our game. These boys do watch Super Rugby. They watch a lot of it on TV.
So first yellow card in this encounter. It looks like Ernest has been given a yellow card. So OH seems as if they are going to finish the greater part of this game with 14 men, but a big tackle coming in and a big counter-attack coming in, but however still Pitbulls with the ball.
So once again, as I'm saying, that the overemphasis on physicality by Pitbulls without spreading the ball. Right now they do have a two-man overlap if they can get quick ball right now onto the near side. Ball has to go through the hands, not going through the hands. And once again has gone into contact and they may lose
big
out on possession.
coming in.
Picked up, now deciding to go.
Ooh,
oh, that's a big tackle.
But however, Pitbulls with the ball, and the scrum half immediately calls for the fly half to go into pocket. No, this time around, once again opting for forwards to gain those extra yards, and it seems as if an OH player was over the ball, but the referee says play on. And it's still Pitbulls obstruction. We are going to go back for another long arm penalty, and obviously the Pitbulls, they are going to play it with
this is where they are dangerous. Broken
six
play.
People. Can he stick, and with an offload pass, Pitbulls with possession. Remember, they do have an numerical advantage, and it seems as if OH players were offside. Are they going to score? A little bit of fending off. It is a crash ball. Pitbulls, I don't know why he decided to go for pick and go, but still, as long as they are still moving with forward, but still Pitbulls, another crash ball to where the big, strongest man on the field of play is. So we're going to go back for another long arm penalty. I'm not sure what they just decided to go for another quick tap. Ball are still available. Yes, it is the right call, but seems as if that was holding. The Pitbulls player was over the ball. An interesting call, and the fans are not happy with the referee. And another, it seems as, oh no. So players getting to know each other physically. So the referee today we apologize for the profanity. So players not happy expressing themselves.
Well, I had gone into my pocket of silence, had I there, and that was very, very challenging to understand what the process for the referee there actually was. And obviously there are a couple of injured players there, but look, this is what also comes with the pressure of a high-intensity match, a high-intensity game. But we are expecting that a lot of the refereeing as well has to also be looked at, and I'm sure there will be reviews around these videos when they do meet on Monday, which is what they usually do every single Monday. Serious challenges.
So, but however, the referee's decision is final. He's the man in charge. So Mbiro goes for kick for touch rather.
All right, so let's continuously analyze this game here, Sydney. I mean, it seems like it has turned into a bit of a scrappy game. Personally, when we're looking at this, all Derarians are expected and should be expected to demonstrate a much better execution. Well, at the line out, there's been no question about that, and they keep on driving. And there we go. It is a penalty. It is a penalty.
It is a penalty because Pit Bulls didn't contest. So Pit Bulls looking forward to spread that ball out wide.
Once again, Vincent Chimwendo goes into contact, but that contestation at the breakdown.
It looks like the All Arrarians players were over the ball, but however, the referee didn't see it. It looks like now hands in the rack, because by now the referee should have made a call, but however, play continues. It still is Pit Bulls playing their flair rugby, ball to hand. Another offload.
Well, they've made some really good meters here. Have Pit Bulls.
Player was supposed to release, but however, player and the referees.
Oh, that was a decent running line, but a little bit too straight into traffic.
Clever chip, but looks like players. So it will be interesting to see what's going to be the referee score there. Ruimbo is shaking and nodding his head.
Well,
looks like he's disappointed, but remember that referee's decision is final.
Look, Sydney, we don't have a problem with the referee's decision being final, and we obviously have to respect that even from a commentary perspective. I think the major challenge does also come for me. I'm looking from the player's perspective as well. Have we been dished up and served up the quality game that we expected? I think for intensity purposes, yes. But in terms of execution purposes, no. I think
so. Another All Arrarians player being sent off. All Arrarians struggling with their discipline. Now it's 13 versus 15. You would expect, All Arrarians to do better, especially when it comes to discipline, because they are senior. They are more. You would expect, maturity. There was a lot of ball incidents earlier on. It was a late tackle.
And with that knock on, it hands a possession back to Old Arrarians. A much needed one. And Old Arrarians run away with this one. 12 points to 7. It was within reach. But once again, I will put it to Pit Bulls. Pit Bulls did not execute at the time that they needed to execute. Old Arrarians were one man down. Why they did not spread the ball wide to try to stretch the defense, we don't know. Set pieces did not work out for Pit Bulls today. They lost a bucket load of their lineouts. I think they won only one or two of their lineouts. And ultimately, at the end of the day, you pay the price in games of intensity like this. Big question, Sydney. What was that at the end of the first half? Could have gone to the halftime break leading 3-0, but they didn't.
I would like to quote your famous quote, Rimbo. Could have been, would have been, and now there is the final. So 12 points to 7 in favor of Old Arrarians. Unfortunately, for Pit Bulls, I believe that it's a learning curve for them, because they do have a squad that consists of under 23 players. Majority of them are under 23. So maybe in the future, they will be able to beat this star-studded Old Arrarians.
Oh yes, so that's the end of this match, much anticipated, and I guess the scoreline itself suggests what we anticipated. Tight, very tight, but Old Arrarians run away with it, 12 points to 7.
So up next, it is